Hi, listeners. Welcome back to the Calsoft podcast series. I'm your host, Vaishnavi Kulkarni, Marketing Manager at Calsoft. We're back with the series of podcasts around ServiceNow integration. And our expert speaker for today's Calsoft podcast is Manish Patel. He's been uh, he's been called back on the podcast on demand after his first successful podcast on ServiceNow integration. In this podcast, he will cover more about different integration techniques and methods provided by ServiceNow. To give you a little background of Manish, Manish has a proven track record in the information technology and services industry, showcasing proficiency in Java, C, HTML, Jelly, and JavaScript. He serves as a ServiceNow expert at Calsoft and currently holds the role of associate architect, actively contributing to Calsoft's ServiceNow practices. Manish has played a pivotal role in the development of ServiceNow solutions for various domains, including storage and virtualization. So, Manish, could you tell our audience very briefly, like how this podcast will be different than our previous podcast where we covered basics of ServiceNow integration?
Sure, and thanks Vaishnavi for introduction. Hello all. In last podcast, I had briefed about outbound integration offered by ServiceNow with one example. This podcast is also related to ServiceNow integration, but this one is next in this series, which will give more idea about different integration techniques and methods provided by ServiceNow.
Oh, that's great. I'm very sure our audience is going to love this podcast as they enjoyed your previous podcast as well. It's always good to have you on podcast, Manish. I think before we jump onto the topic, I wanted you to just give us a brief about what exactly is integration. We have been hearing a lot of things about application integration, software integration, this integration, that integration. So, what exactly is integration in simple language?
Okay. Uh, the term integration itself tells us what integration is, but in software industry, in simple words, we can say software integration is nothing but the process of exchange of information through APIs. Now, API is nothing but application programming interface, which is nothing but a standard to exchange the data to communicate between two applications. Right? Software integration is exchange of
Yeah.
information through APIs across software
Mhm.
applications or devices across your IT organization to improve system productivity, efficiency, as well as agility. Once
Mhm.
applications are connected, they can exchange data in real time or as and when needed.
Okay, okay. That I think see, because we have mix of audience, I think there will be few who are very new to this subject. So this I think will really help them. Next, my next question is, so what is integration in case of ServiceNow, and what are the different techniques or methods that we usually use when it comes to ServiceNow integration?
Okay, so in general, we discussed what is integration in
Yeah.
software industry, but now let's see what is integration with respect to ServiceNow. So as per the product document released by ServiceNow, integration is again exchange of information between Now platform and another system or source. Here, exchange of information is happening between the provider, which can be a server, and a consumer, which we call as a client. So
Mhm.
there are two types of integration supported by ServiceNow. One is inbound and the other one is outbound.
Okay. So, in this case, what is inbound integration in case of ServiceNow? And are there any modules, methods, or features that are available to build this inbound integration in ServiceNow?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about inbound integration in ServiceNow. So
Yeah.
inbound refers to request made by other applications to read, create, update, or data, delete the data which is stored within ServiceNow.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
in inbound request, third-party application outside of ServiceNow, that application will request an action through ServiceNow API. We already discussed what is an API.
Yeah.
So that application will request particular action like read, create, delete, or update through ServiceNow APIs. So different APIs which are supported by ServiceNow includes table API,
Mm-hmm.
attachment
Okay.
API, and email API. So there are
Okay.
different inbound integration techniques which are supported offered by ServiceNow. And to name few of them, inbound SOAP, then scripted REST, email inbound integration, and data source table transform map. These are some of the
Okay.
examples of inbound integration techniques supported by ServiceNow.
Oh, that's very interesting. Before we get into the details of this integration techniques, I mean inbound integration techniques, would you quickly like to summarize what exactly is outbound integration?
Yeah, definitely. We just saw what is inbound integration with respect to ServiceNow. Let's see what is outbound with respect to ServiceNow. So the
Yeah.
term outbound refers to request made by ServiceNow to external application to read, create, update, or delete the data which is owned by the third party application.
Okay. Okay.
In outbound technique, ServiceNow acts as a web service consumer, which requests information from third party web service provider. The web
Mm-hmm.
service provider then processes the request which is made by ServiceNow, and in return, that application provides you a status code and response body. When this
Okay.
response body is received by ServiceNow, ServiceNow acts as a web service consumer, which extract the information received from third-party tool, and from that information, they receive the details and then take an action. So, likewise, inbound integration, there are different techniques supported by ServiceNow to build outbound integration. Some of them are REST outbound, SOAP outbound, and export set scheduled data export.
Oh, that's great. Now let's jump on to understanding this inbound integration techniques as well as outbound integration techniques. I think that will be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's
We
start with
just
inbound first, maybe inbound.
yes. So we just summarized what the different techniques provided by ServiceNow for inbound integration, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see what are the different techniques that are available to build inbound integration within ServiceNow.
Okay. Okay.
The very first one is inbound SOAP. As a part of inbound SOAP, ServiceNow provides direct web service, SOAP web service import sets, and scripted SOAP web services. These are the three inbound integration techniques using SOAP. SOAP
Okay.
is nothing but a protocol. It stands for Simple Object Access Protocol, and it is a way or standard, you can say, to communicate or to exchange data between two applications. And the strict format which is supported through SOAP is XML. Two
Okay.
applications can exchange data only in the format XML message.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from inbound SOAP, there is scripted REST API. Now again, REST stands for representational state transfer. This
Okay.
is a set of guideline. Unlike SOAP, which is a protocol, REST is architecture style for designing communication interfaces. Unlike SOAP, REST is not restricted to XML, but its choice of implementer, which media type to use for integration. So it support XML, JSON, plain text,
Mm.
as well as HTML. The next inbound integration type is email inbound integration. Uh, Inbound email is nothing but a mail sent to ServiceNow. The integration logic written within ServiceNow reads the incoming email and then executes an action in the response.
Mm-hmm.
In business rules are triggered based on condition written.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, inbound email actions also uses condition to trigger the script or logic to take an action
Okay.
on target table in ServiceNow.
Okay.
And the
Okay.
final one here is data sources and table transform map. Data sources defines what data should be imported. It can be Excel file. It can be imported from servers like LDAP or using JDBC database, or it can be imported using web services. Yeah. So these are the four techniques using which you can implement or
So,
build inbound integration within ServiceNow.
okay. One very quick question, Manish. So, as per your experience, which of these is widely used? Which of these inbound techniques is widely used?
See, if you're talking about inbound integration, then scripted REST gives you flexibility to implement integration.
Okay.
So yeah, scripted REST is, I will say,
Widely used.
widely used and offers you more advantages while building integration.
Okay. Great. Great. Now, should we jump onto the outbound integration techniques?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, the outbound integration techniques supported by ServiceNow includes REST outbound, then SOAP outbound, and export set scheduled data export. Let's discuss what is REST outbound with respect to ServiceNow.
Yeah.
ServiceNow's
Okay.
outbound REST functionality allows you to retrieve, create, update, or delete data on a web service server. that supports REST architecture.
Okay.
A REST message can be sent by REST workflow activity or integration hub or by using REST message v2 API provided by ServiceNow. When you're building ServiceNow's REST outbound integration, that requires you to provide endpoint information, authentication method, HTTP header, and HTTP methods. So this is REST outbound. Let's
Okay.
jump on to SOAP outbound. SOAP outbound in ServiceNow is nothing but consuming WSDL by providing authentication. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you will ask what is WSDL? So it is a
Yeah.
short form of Web Service Definition Language,
Okay.
WSDL. It is an
Okay.
XML document that describes this table schema and available operations. So this is another way through which you can implement outbound integration in ServiceNow. The third option using which you can build ServiceNow's outbound integration is export set and schedule data export.
Okay.
Export set enables you to push data outside of ServiceNow to external location.
Mm.
You can export data to remote system using mid server. So when you're talking about export set, there are two concepts. One is export definition. That means what data you want to export outside of ServiceNow. And the second concept is export target. That means where you want to export the data. Export set supports multiple file types such as CSV, XML, Excel, and JSON. You can frequently push data to external location using export sets and schedule data export for reporting purpose or to preserve a snapshot of a data by setting up recurrent schedule export. Yeah, so these are the different outbound techniques provided by
Mm-hmm.
ServiceNow.
Okay. So in this case, I'm assuming REST outbound would be the widely used one.
Yes, exactly.
So,
REST outbound is more widely used in ServiceNow to build outbound integration.
okay. Okay. And I'm getting a hang of ServiceNow integration. That's really great. Now, by the way, are there any readily available plugins for integrations apart from, these,
Yeah, yeah.
something
Uh,
that we can, like plug and play?
yes. Uh, we just discussed different techniques and methods that ServiceNow offers to build integration. But there are few readily available plugins or applications which you can
Mhm.
just use and start implementing your integration. Uh,
Okay.
Few of them are e-bonding. E-bonding is
Mhm.
a mechanism to integrate and synchronize data between two ServiceNow instances in the real time. This
Okay.
kind of integration is in between two ServiceNow instances. It includes scripted REST, table API, import set API to build the solution. And this e-bonding plugin is made available by ServiceNow only.
Okay. Okay.
There is another plugin using which you can build your integration solution. So Integration Hub is a Now platform application for process automation and integrations that uses common platform to interact with external platforms. Developers can use Integration Hub plugin to build reusable spokes and integration actions to execute requests against external system.
Okay.
And apart from these two, there are some scoped application available on ServiceNow store, which are built by vendors. You can either purchase them or some of them are freely available. So yeah, these are some of the
Okay.
techniques through which you can implement integration within ServiceNow.
Perfect. Perfect. So, Manish, what exactly is role of CalSoft when it comes to ServiceNow integration? Do you want to highlight any of the instances or examples where we helped our customers with ServiceNow integration or develop integration?
Yeah, definitely. In last podcast, I had given one example. It was a real-time example, a very complex ServiceNow integration that we built for one of the
Okay.
customer. So
Mm-hmm.
CalSoft works with clients to enhance their IT offerings. ServiceNow
Mm-hmm.
integration built by CalSoft helps organization to better align and improve their IT services and processes with business goal. One such example where security integration plugin built by CalSoft has helped customer to reduce the gap between threat detection and response effectively with
Okay.
ServiceNow's security incident response.
Mm-hmm.
SIR is ServiceNow's incident response module, which we had implemented for one of the customer to manage the life cycle of security incidents.
Okay. Okay.
Again, through the implementation of organizations database integration with ServiceNow CMDB, we
Mm-hmm.
help customer to keep their database up to date with latest changes, eliminate outages, drastically shorten the time it takes to rectify the outage, and maintains compliance.
Okay.
Integration has also helped those customers to lower the expenses and administration overhead through cloud migration. Yeah, so these were some of the examples where CalSoft has helped
Mm.
clients to build effective ServiceNow integration.
Oh, that's amazing. I think there must be many things to share here, I'm very sure. So, in case if audience wants to, know more case studies or applications where Calsoft has helped the customers build this ServiceNow integration, you can write to us on marketing@calsofting.com and we'll share you the case studies. So, Manish, I think that's all the time we have for today. I really want to thank you for sharing your valuable time with us and expertise and knowledge around ServiceNow integration. I think this podcast will help our audience build a basic understanding of ServiceNow integration techniques. And I really hope to see you again soon on this podcast with another topic on ServiceNow. Thank
Definitely,
you.
Vaishnavi. Thank you.
So, this has been the Kairos of podcast featuring Manish Patil. Stay tuned for our upcoming podcast on ServiceNow testing in this series of ServiceNow podcasts. Thank you for listening.